You are listening to One Happy Podcast, episode 38.
But if you try to blend in, go to the neighborhoods and, go to these local stores and local restaurants, small bars, etc. Really try to taste the culture instead of, just going to these big.
Bon dia and welcome to One Happy Podcast, the officially unofficial podcast of the island of Aruba. I'm your host, Curtis Robinson, aka Aruba Kurt, and as always, I want to thank you for taking the time to download and listen to today's episode, which is going to be a great one because I have a very special guest planned for you guys. Now, today I'm being joined by a guest who was born on Aruba and lived there for the first 12 years of his life. Currently, he resides in the Netherlands, but plans to move back to Aruba after the birth of his son, which is probably going to be happening any day now. He's a former pro soccer player, mixed martial arts fan, and soon-to-be father. The interview lasts about 40 minutes, and over the course of that time, we talk about all sorts of topics, from growing up in Aruba, or is it on Aruba? I'm never sure I'm supposed to say that. Big Arubian family beach get-togethers, the role the tourism industry played in his and every other Arubian child's upbringing, crime, nightlife, having an appreciation for Aruba, and of course, food. But enough of me rambling. How about we just jump into One Happy Podcast, episode 38, featuring Howard Nedd. So you're from Aruba. What was it like growing up on the island?
Yeah, it was the most part that I remember is it was really fun. So I was raised there, went to school until I became 12 there. So yeah, the main thing that I remember about Aruba is the real playful youth that I had. Play around outside and really enjoy the weather, go to the beach, having a family barbecue, and really easy, really easy.
So what kind of games did you guys like to play when you were younger, growing up?
Oh, we were some bad little boys. We used to cops and criminals, and then you had a group of criminals and group of cops throw rocks at each other. Play a lot of baseball because obviously there was a big influence from the Americans. That we like baseball, and so we used to play soccer and all types of sports. The island loves sports, and so a lot of sports.
Yeah, Xander Bogaerts is huge now.
Yeah, he's a legendary dude in Aruba right now. I mean, in the world, actually.
Yeah, all over.
Yeah, I've been doing really good. And as you know, the Arubans are really, really proud about that because it's a big achievement.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So much respect to him.
Yeah, he's a great talent.
Yeah, he sure is.
So, one thing I always like whenever I'm down in Aruba is when I'm on the beach. It's usually Eagle Beach, and I'll see like a group of kids coming past, kicking the soccer ball around. Were you one of those kids?
Oh yeah, we used to play around, and when the tourists come along, we used to play with the ball with them, and just have fun. Basically, back in the days, it isn't like that anymore. But on the beach, they used to sell ice cream, so you had these guys walking around with these boxes with ice cream. And we came from a pretty like poor family. So we, like little kids, knew if we went on the beach and we would play and have fun. A lot of tourists, normally Americans, they tend to buy ice cream for you, whatever, and that would be a big achievement for us.
Right.
You went to the beach and playing around, sweating, and play around and kick the ball to the tourists, and then they would buy your ice cream. It was a big achievement for little kids.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, see, growing up, we always played outside too. I mean, we didn't have the beautiful beaches like you guys have, but we were out playing cops and robbers, baseball, just having fun.
Yeah.
These days, it's a little bit different. I know back home, kids don't tend to play outside as much anymore. They're on their cell phones now because everybody has a cell phone, or they're playing video games. How is it in Aruba? Is it still the way it used to be, or have they really been taken over by technology?
I think that's an extremely important point that you mentioned because me and my wife we're speaking about this. because obviously I'm having, as I told you, I'm having a baby within 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. And I would like him to, have a little bit of our culture. So, we spoke about raising him there for at least 5 years, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and I think in Aruba they still like to play outside because not everybody has the money to walk around with an iPhone
Right.
and yeah, it's pretty expensive for certain people in Aruba. So,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good thing. A lot of people tend to say, Aruba is like 5 or 6 years behind to the the normal world, if I
That's
can call it like that.
right, but that's not always a bad thing.
No, I think actually it's a positive thing. I mean, I've lived in London for a year
Mm-hmm.
because of work, and it's a great city. I think for me, it's the greatest city in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but on the other hand, it's extremely expensive, and it's also always quick. Everything goes quick, and there's always a rush. There's no time to enjoy your family and
Right.
have a relaxed time. And in Aruba, I think the culture is really important. That at least every Sunday we come together, we go to the beach, we have a barbecue, and some music, and
Mm-hmm.
just enjoy each other's company and keep it simple.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a big difference. I think in Aruba, there's still obviously there are people. Technology has also reached the island, of
Right. Definitely.
course. But I think people still tend to really enjoy. People are really relaxed. Sometimes too relaxed, But
Mm-hmm. I
yeah,
like it.
yeah,
I like it because we're too uptight here. So I find that whenever I spend time in Aruba after the first day, I've settled down a lot. So it's like the Aruba vibe actually gets into me.
yeah.
We all
Which
need
is
that.
which is good
Yeah, we
because
all we all need that.
yeah, because some people they even have difficulties relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously I go back to Aruba every year, and you take some people with you. You want to show them your island, and some people have difficulties with relaxing. They want to be there on time. They want to eat at 6 o'clock or
Mm-hmm.
7 o'clock. They want to do this, and that's totally not the vibe that you should have when you're on the island.
Right. You got it.
What happens happens, and if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, tomorrow's another day.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah,
Well, it's like this call. Like I was supposed to call you, 15, 20 minutes before I actually did.
yeah,
And I messaged you, and what did you say?
yeah. I said, relax, man. Aruba vibes. We're
That's
speaking
right.
about Aruba, and we're not losing anything with those 10 or 20 minutes. We're still
Right.
having this conversation.
So you mentioned the tourists would buy you ice cream. How when you were a kid, what other influences did tourism have on your upbringing?
The first thing you learn is that we learn in school that English is the language that will take us further.
Mm-hmm.
So we learn Dutch, we learn English. I have a Dominican mother, so I speak Spanish
Mm-hmm.
also. My father's from Aruba, so you have the Aruban Papiamento.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and you learn that the tourists are very important people for us. We need to treat them with respect, show them that our place is all about love and relaxing and showing them a good time. Because at the end of the day, they paying our bread. So you treat people with respect and show them a good time. Actually,
Yeah, I mean, I've always been treated exceptionally down there.
oh yeah, we love Americans. There's just something. It's a good connection between Arubas and Americans.
So you used to play baseball and soccer. Which one would you say is Aruba's national pastime?
I think soccer is stepping up right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a lot of stuff. A few guys that play professional football here in the Netherlands are setting up soccer schools and doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball used to be, the big sport. It still is a big sport in Aruba, but I think soccer is really, yeah, making big steps.
Oh
They're
yeah.
they're showing it on the television and
Mm-hmm.
sponsorships and going abroad. So
Right.
yeah, I think soccer is really stepping up.
Yeah, it's the same way here. Soccer's growing by leaps and bounds because American football now is people are seeing how dangerous it is. So a lot of people aren't letting their children play it like they
Yeah, with
used to.
concussions and stuff.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
What role do you think sports plays in being able to maintain the way that you do grow up?
Um, Yeah, as I said, I think sport is an important cultural thing. Just to keep kids social. To be around people.
Hmm.
Team sports in general. You get to deal with different characters, different type of people, and yeah, you get to compete with people, and Aruban people, they really like to compete with each other. It's a small island, so
Hmm.
when you do good, everybody knows.
Right.
When you do bad, it's the same story.
Yeah.
So you try to do your family proud, and
Hmm.
step up your game when you're doing sports.
Do you have a big family?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of family in the States, also
Oh yeah.
in Miami,
Hmm.
Orlando, and New Jersey.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, in Aruba also a lot of uncles, nieces. Yeah,
Hmm.
really big.
Yeah. So you guys all get together on Sundays?
Yeah, we used to get together on Sunday.
Hmm.
My mother, she lived here in the Netherlands. She went back to Aruba last year for
Hmm.
good because she was tired of the weather here and
Yeah.
life in general. And we had a lot of discussions. And I said to her, you got to do what makes you happy.
Hmm.
And you can have a big house here, but if you're not happy, yeah, just go back, relax, and see what's important in life.
Right.
We tend to go for big things. Reach, have a good car, and it's all nice. But at the end of
Hmm.
the day, when I'm in Aruba, I put on my slippers, my shorts, and just a simple T-shirt. Whatever
That's it.
T-shirt it is, and that's it. I'm done. I can go outside and go. If I don't feel like cooking, I just go to my neighbors, have some chicken, and it's different. Like here, if somebody comes to dinner for me, like my sister is coming to dinner on Wednesday. But the culture thing here in the Netherlands is you're really setting stuff up.
Hmm.
Like, okay, you're coming Wednesday, so you'll be here around 6. We're gonna eat at 6:30, etc.
Right.
That's not the case in our own culture, but you try to blend in with how
Right.
life is here in,
When
in
in
Europe.
Rome.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So whenever I'm down in Aruba and say I'm at Baby Beach on a Sunday, I notice that there'll be large groups of families there. What was your family's favorite place to gather?
Yeah, so we, when we didn't have a lot of money, actually, we used to live in San Nicolas. It's all the
Hmm.
way where you just explained, Baby Beach. We used to go to Baby Beach with the family because
Hmm.
it was the closest beach,
Right.
and it still is like the beach where the locals go.
Hmm.
You have Arashi. A lot of
Yes,
locals go there also,
that's
which
one of my
is
favorites.
I think Arashi is the most beautiful, relaxing part of the beach
Hmm.
up north. Um, but yeah, we used to go to Baby Beach and just enjoy, some family dinner, some barbecue. And we love the barbecue, and
Right.
yeah, really relaxed. Because in San Nicolas you have a lot of in those times when I grew up, you had people from Trinidad, people from Jamaica. A lot of
Hmm.
Jamaicans were living in that part, and yeah, I really love to the way we blended in because I learned to speak English and you know um, learn more about their culture. So
Right.
that was nice.
So, like you mentioned, Arashi Beach. I
Yeah.
personally, almost every evening, I end at Arashi Beach watching the sunset there. I don't think there's a better place on the island to watch the sunset.
Oh, you're totally right. I remember I took my wife not last year, 2013,
Hmm.
14. I took her for the first time to Aruba, and I
Hmm.
have I haven't been there in 4 years before
Okay.
2014. So I went there and I took her to Tamara and Arashi, and once we bumped into Arashi, we stayed there till like the late hours on the beach, like 8 or 9 o'clock
Hmm.
p.m. And it's so the water cools down and people leave and it's really relaxed. And yeah, I think Arashi is the most beautiful way to watch the sunset.
Yeah, definitely. So when did you leave Aruba?
So do you mean this year
No,
or?
when you originally left.
So I was 12.
12
So I
years old.
lived there, yeah, 12 years old. Then I came here.
Hmm.
A lot of Arubans do that. They come to the Netherlands
Okay.
to study or to get a good job or whatever
Hmm.
for a better future.
Right.
But at the end of the day, most of us tend to go back. Once we're done with our studies or we've had a little bit of career. Then you start to acknowledge that you miss your island and you just want to go back, buy yourself a house and live relaxed.
Yeah, calls you back,
Yeah, it really calls me
and
back.
you're planning on relocating back to Aruba now.
Yeah, so last year we went back. So the start of 2015,
Mm-hmm.
we went back to. Actually, I was supposed to go back and stay, but we had some difficulties. I wasn't married yet,
Right.
so my girlfriend wasn't able to, get a job or get a permit. It was difficult times,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously, I was working six days a week.
Mm-hmm.
For her, in the beginning, it was all perfect. She's free, she can go to the beach, and she doesn't have to work. But after a while, if you're someone with a certain type of discipline, you wanna work, and she's from the
Yeah.
Netherlands, so she's used to a certain rhythm.
Right. Right.
So she started missing home, and we came back. She got pregnant, and we decided, it's good to have birth here in the Netherlands, as the wealth care, it's really good down here.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still planning to go back and yeah, raise my son there, and see how life goes. Take it one step at a time.
Right.
Maybe you go there, and after 5 years, you still want to leave the island. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, that's home.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't beat the opportunity to raise your child the same way that you were raised.
No, I really want to give him a part of my culture. I want him to
Mm-hmm.
understand the way I think, the way
Right.
I look at life, and I think it's important to not only tell him but let him experience it.
Right. And those first 5 years, I mean, that's going to be the formative years before the rest of the world gets a chance to interfere.
Yeah, totally right. Totally right. No, but look at and not just because I'm from Aruba, but it's just a known fact that there's almost no criminality down there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so peaceful. And if you look at this side of the world, it gets sad. You even reconsider if it's a good idea to bring a child to this world. At
Right.
least that's my perception.
No, no, I definitely understand that.
So to have the possibility to go there and raise my kid there, oh, why not?
Now, recently there have been some crimes in Aruba that have made tourists kind of uneasy, but
Yeah,
still not to the extent that we experience here in the U.S. I mean, to be completely honest, but it's just that since Aruba was so crime free, anytime you hear something about it,
it's a big deal.
right,
Yeah.
it's a big deal. So much so that some people claim that more crime happens than tourists are made aware of. Do you think that's true?
Oh, that's totally true.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be fair. We're pretty close to countries like Venezuela,
Mm-hmm.
Colombia, and yeah, that's the part where drugs comes from.
Right.
People are having difficult times there, so they try to go elsewhere. A lot of people from Venezuela are coming to the
Mm-hmm.
island,
Mm-hmm.
um, and some people have difficulties with that because there's a little different in culture.
Right.
But at the same time, if you flip it around and you will be living in Venezuela, you'll be having a hard time. You would, do the same and try to
Probably.
go to that island,
Uh-huh.
and history tells, that Aruba was basically also from people from Venezuela. So, the Indians back in the day. So
Mm-hmm.
they should be welcome if they come with the good intentions.
And
And
that's the key. Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, to be completely fair, even with unreported crime or whatever, it's still safer than your average American city.
Oh, I'm totally aware of that. I mean, I haven't been in the States for a while, but you follow the news, and yeah, so some things that happen really really scare me.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a lot of stuff with race happening down there, and it's not everywhere, but it happens a lot in the state. It gets to the news a lot, and um, the whole gun discussion
Right.
is also very interesting. So no, if you compare that to Aruba, we don't have nothing to worry about. And
Right.
sometimes people rob something out of your car. It will be a $10 bill
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, and
Right.
it's not a big deal.
I find that as long as you exercise common sense, that eliminates a lot of possibilities, you know?
Totally right. Totally
So
right.
just switching things up, what do you miss the most about Aruba?
Yeah, that's what that's the most difficult part to explain. Actually, it's a feeling. So, for example, when I go to the airplane to the airport here in the Netherlands, and I go to Aruba, and as soon as I touch down, so as soon as the door opens and the hot boiling air comes in, but it's still fresh, right? It's hot and boiling, but it's still fresh, and you smell it like it's a really familiar smell, and for me, that's the feeling that explains Aruba for me totally, like the feeling of coming home, not being there for 10 years or maybe 4 or 5 years, and then come back, and it feels like you never left.
Right. Yeah, I love that feeling whenever the doors open.
Yeah, it's a fresh feeling.
It's the best when you're leaving a cold climate and you get down there.
But another thing, if I think about it a bit deeper, what I do miss is the simplicity of life in general. As I said before, people don't really care, how you're dressed. Like here, you're in the Netherlands or in the Western world. People are still tempted to you have a certain standard. You have to look a certain way. You have to behave a certain way. Your career should be, when you're 30, you should have a good career. And I know some of my friends. They work on the beach in Aruba. They've been doing that for 15 years now, making a good money. And they're fine. They're happy with what they have. They don't have to have their own business or whatever. That's their business. Just renting those things.
I would give up everything that I have right now to be able to live in Aruba and rent jet skis on the beach.
So what's keeping you in the States?
It's difficult for Americans for people in general to relocate to Aruba. The laws aren't really friendly for that sort of thing.
As I explained, I went there with was my girlfriend at that time, and we had really difficulties with her, like getting a legal job, and they said, yeah, just marry her, and then she'll be able to do everything. And I said, well, once I marry her, that should have another reason, not just because I wanted to get a job and be able to work there. At the end of the day, I asked her to marry me 2 months ago. So I was already planning to ask her to marry me, but I didn't want to give her the perception that I'm going to ask her to marry me so we can stay in Aruba.
Right.
I didn't think that would make a good impression.
Yeah, definitely not. You made the right choice.
I think so.
Yeah, I need to find an Aruban to marry. I don't think my girlfriend would like it though.
Be careful.
She just gave me a dirty look.
Obviously.
So what was your, not to speak for her, but what did your wife think of Aruba when she visited?
Yeah, the first thing that she said to me, she couldn't believe those beaches. The first beach we went to was Tamarine. And she said, this looks exactly as on the pictures. Like normally you see a picture and then you go to a holiday to Spain or whatever, and it looks somewhat different,
Right.
But she said everything was really nice. She said the food, like all the restaurants we went to, she really loved it. The food is really good there. Have a good steak.
Yeah, they do.
Really good food. So she loved that, and the people were really friendly to her. Like my family really welcomed her, and give her a feeling that she's a part of our family.
Right.
So yeah, she really enjoyed that.
Very nice. Very cool. You mentioned the food. Do you have favorite places to hit up whenever you do visit Aruba?
I'm gonna be really easy. I know all the nice restaurants, but I'm a local guy.
Right.
When I go there. So the first thing that I do is I go to a truck. We have these trucks, and really cheap, and it doesn't look slick or whatever, but we know that the good food is down there.
That's right.
Basically when you go to Aruba, and the smart tourists, they do that. When you see a row, people waiting in line to have food or whatever, that's the place to go. When you see locals, just go get your food down there.
That's right.
It's good to go to Daniel's and Screaming Eagle and all those things, which are fine. But if you really want to taste the local stuff, just look at where the local people are.
One of our favorites is right by Eagle Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a huge meal for like $6. You can't beat it.
No, it's perfect.
And the Tia Rosa food truck.
Yeah, also a very good one.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what attracted us to it. We saw a line of people.
Yeah, then you know it's good because if the local people go there, and it's, first of all, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of local people don't have a lot of money, and it's good food. We Arubans, we love good food. We love our good meat, and we love it a little too much, but it's all good. It's just food.
Do you have a favorite?
So my uncle, he has this. I wouldn't say a club, but it's like a disco bar where
Okay.
he picks up tourists and then he brings them. It's called Tumazu,
Okay.
and he has in front of the door he makes barbecue. And maybe it's because it's family, but I love his barbecue. It's like the best barbecue I've
Uh-huh.
tasted. So I go there, but I also like to go to them restaurants. A local store. Screaming Eagle, if you want to
Hmm.
have a relaxed vibe with your lady,
Right.
that's the place to go. Or go and sit on the beach and have some dinner down there. Yeah, so there are several that I like. I mean, if you want to eat in Aruba, you're good. You have El Gauchos. The thing with El Gaucho is sometimes when I go there, it's really perfect. Like
Hmm.
just and then there's times that the food is not that good, and you still
Right.
pay that same money, right? So.
Yeah. See, that's what keeps me away. I need consistency.
Oh, I need the same thing. I need the same thing. I like Gianni's. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I've never been there. I go past it all the time, but I've never been there.
Yeah, I used to walk by it all the
Hmm.
time because normally back in the days when I was living in Aruba, for us, those type of restaurants weren't for us, right? These are for the tourists with money, and
Hmm.
now that I'm able to take my lady to dinner, I thought why not? Let me just go to Daniel's and Gianni's and just
Hmm.
see what happens. I like the food, but I still don't like the stiff vibe. If you
Yeah.
if you see what I'm saying,
No, I,
because
I agree. I think
yeah,
that's what keeps me out of it. The white tablecloth look is just, I don't know.
yeah, it's too much when you're just having a palm tree holiday, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. I like to relax on vacation.
yeah, of course.
What about nightlife? You probably know some pretty good places to hang out at in Aruba.
Yeah, I used to go to Sandbar.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's nice down there. Just walk around in the
Hmm.
open space and have a few cocktails, have a few drinks.
Yeah. You
Um,
look familiar. I might have seen you there before.
could be. I used to. Senior Frogs down there.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, also that little square, walk around, have some drinks, and so I used to play football in Aruba also for RCA.
Okay. What's
And yeah,
RCA?
so it's Racing Club Aruba. It's a
Okay.
football, it's a soccer team.
Hmm.
Um, they've been the champions for the last few years,
Oh,
so
nice.
they're doing good. Yeah, we used to go out with a group, with the guys of the team and have some fun and have some food together. We used to like. See, I have my girlfriend already, but most teammates, Hooters was a new thing
Hmm.
for these Arubans, and they're like, pretty beautiful girls work there to their perception,
Right.
and used to go there to have a look at the beautiful Aruban ladies and have some good chicken.
Of course. Famous for two things: their wings and other things.
Yeah, you said that right.
Okay, Howard, Ned, are you ready for the eye of the hurricane?
Oh, I think so. I hope so.
Now, obviously, you know better than anyone that Aruba lies below the hurricane belt. But on this episode of One Happy Podcast, we visit the eye of the hurricane.
Okay then.
Okay, finish this sentence. You know you're in Aruba when?
When the sand's stuck between your toes and you're having a cocktail in your right hand.
Give me a no-brainer great time in Aruba.
Wake up, put on your shorts, go to the beach, have a relax, lay down on the beach, have some good drinks. After that, go to a truck, return to the beach, go back home, take a shower, dress up, go to the club, have more drinks.
Nice. Now, when you get back to Aruba, what's the one thing you're looking most forward to doing?
Well, the thing I'm looking forward to do is see my mother because it's going to be, a year and a half without
Mm-hmm.
seeing her. So that's the first thing I'm looking forward to. And the next thing is, showing her her grandson, of course. So these are the two things that I'm really looking forward to. And then after that is obviously enjoying my island and, enjoying it to the fullest.
What's missing from Aruba, or how do you think Aruba could be improved?
Um, well, if I can complain, sometimes the internet is not that good.
Right.
It could be better. But that's just a small thing. Sometimes it's a good thing that the internet is not working. That's a no-brainer. Just people enjoy each other without the internet. But to be honest, I think Mike de Mesa, he's doing really good. for Aruba, Mike Amon. So no, I think things are going very, very well for Aruba. They're missing, I think, if you look at the beach, I would like to see a little more of the beach restaurants or bars, to have some cocktails on the beach instead of just having these hotels dictating the beach.
Right.
I would like to see that. Local people just setting up their stuff, and that would be nice.
Well, let me ask you, what do you think about the process for locals being able to start a business?
Oh, it's difficult, as you can tell, because it's not that the people don't have ambition, but it's difficult. You have to have a certain amount of money, which is the first thing you bump into. Then it's all these legal rules,
right?
I mean, look at all the the nice places. When you go up north, around Arashi, you see the big villas. Obviously, those are not Arubans,
right?
Most of people with a lot of money.
Yeah, those are multi-million-dollar homes.
Yeah, it's true. It's not normal. So, yeah, I think it's difficult for people to start their own businesses. And as you can see, when you're in Aruba and you go to the supermarkets, even the small ones, not even speaking about Ling, but most of them are dictated by Chinese people.
Right.
Which is fine. Everybody, do their stuff, but somehow you can see that because the Chinese have their connection to the import and export, etc., it's easier for them to start a business down there than any local Aruba.
Right. So how much do you think Aruba operates on the who you know system?
Oh, that's 90%. Yeah, that's 90% of life down there. Because, I mean, even when I went there, I mean, here in the Netherlands, I need to send my resume, go to a conversation to get a good job, etc. In Aruba, it's just about who you know. When you know the right people, you'll get things done. Simply said.
What's the absolute best thing about growing up on the island?
The feeling of really knowing, even with my age right now, I'm 29 now, but the feeling that I really know what family is about, spending time together and just being relaxed, sometimes not caring about stuff. Like even here, I get caught in this quick life, as I mentioned before, this quick way of living, and people tend to forget what life is about, because at the end of the day, I can have all the money and, everything, but if you're not happy, then that's done, you wasted time just chasing money.
All it leads to is just accumulation of a bunch of things that don't really mean a lot.
Totally. But it was a good moment for me when I went back to Aruba after a few years. And I like nice things, a nice car, nice clothes and stuff. And then I went there and I'm like, these things don't matter actually. I like them. I still like beautiful things, obviously, but I found out that if I would be living in I would have a good house, just a normal house, and then you can feel like that.
Right.
And I can reach the beach real easy and stuff, and my family around me. It's all good. The people have a really good life in Aruba. I tend to tell my family because for them they take it for granted. They're living there and they forget, where they're living. The type of life they have, and they want to go to the big cities, to the States and whatever. And I tell them it's not that easy.
It's overrated.
Yeah, totally.
It's funny because those of us that live in the big cities, we want to go to Aruba.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like those people are living there and they're saying, yeah, we want to go to a big city, drive a big car and stuff like that.
Well, it's the same thing with like growing up. When you're young, you want to grow up, but then once you grow up, you realize all the bills and everything that comes with it.
Oh, I totally agree. Like every time, you try to make ends meet, and you look at the way you pay bills, etc., and all these responsibilities. Like even now, I'm really happy that I'm having a son, and that we're being blessed. But at the same time, it brings a lot of responsibility. His room had to be done. Everything has to be new, etc., because you want to give him the best that you have. But at the same time, you're like, well, I need to, watch my money and stuff. So you try to balance between happiness and responsibility, and don't get carried away.
What's the one thing that you're dying to eat as soon as you're back on the island?
Okay, so this, people might laugh at it, but this sauce, right? It's called salsa rosada.
Okay.
And it's basically called a pink sauce.
Okay.
and it's kind of a cocktail sauce, but with a little different flavor. And you know, the Latins, they've brought it to Aruba, and they sell it at a truck. So when you're having your French fries or your barbecue or your chicken, that sauce, it never tastes as good as theirs. So yeah, I can try to make it myself, but that's the thing I'm looking forward to go and eat.
Nice. I'm gonna have to keep my eye open for it.
Yeah. Remember that salsa rosada.
We all of us visitors, we think we know Aruba, but we don't know Aruba like you know Aruba. So tell me something about Aruba that most of the listening audience has no clue about.
Let's see. I think most of the listeners and most of the visitors that go to Aruba, they look at the beach and the nice hotels, look at Rio and all these parts. But if you try to blend in, go to the neighborhoods and go to these local stores and local restaurants, small bars, etc. Really try to taste the culture instead of just going to these big corporate, these companies, these big restaurants. So you get a perception of culture, because the thing of Aruba is Arubans are really proud. But I think an important part is they should try to retain the culture. Also to show it to people, when they go to the small parts of Aruba. And also just, it's a piece of pride that we have. We're a small island, but, we should retain our culture so we stay Aruba and that it doesn't get to be just a holiday island,
Yeah, I agree 100%. Because, you can still cater to the tourists, but still be uniquely Aruban.
Totally, yeah.
And honestly, we prefer it that way. It's funny because a lot of times in the process of trying to make more and more money, you end up doing things that actually alienate your customer. And Aruba being less Aruban would definitely alienate most of us that like to visit it.
Oh yeah, last year when I was down there, I had some conversation with people that are in politics, etc., and they said the main thing that we should remember is keep the smile genuine. If you're working as a waiter, but you're not happy working as a waiter, go fix tires or do whatever. Because our waiters, they are the most important people actually in Aruba. Because they're the face of Aruba.
Right.
But if your smile is not genuine, and Aruba and tourists is gonna see that. They're gonna see this guy is just trying to sell me stuff, instead of when you're selling a product, you say, okay, what's your taste? What's the thing you really like? What's going to give you this Aruban feeling? And, being real, because people see through that,
Yeah, definitely. There was a waiter, I think it was on our last trip. Anyway, we had eaten in one of the restaurants, and we hadn't been there in 6 months. We go down twice a year, every 6 months. But we had this waiter one time, and when we returned, we had him again. He remembered us. He remembered where we sat. He didn't remember our names, but he remembered our faces. He remembered exactly where we sat. And that made such an impression on us. It's like, wait a second. We met this guy one time 6 months ago, and he cared enough to retain that information.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Just have a conversation with the people sitting at the table. It makes your job easier. It makes the hours go quicker, and you're having I think the nice thing about Aruba, which a lot of people also tend to forget, is you live in a place where you get to know people every day, every week, because you get visitors every day, every week. New people come. So, and everybody has a story. Everybody has their story, so you get to know people, and I think it fulfills you as a human being when you speak with a lot of people and you try to evolve within speaking and listening to people.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so this is the final question of the Eye of the Hurricane. The people of Aruba have decided to lock you out of paradise. That's right, they've decided that since you moved away, you can't move back. However, they have decided that you can visit for one more day, all expenses paid. Howard, Ned, how do you spend your last day on the island of Aruba?
Oh, that's really easy. We go to the beach with the family. I enjoy the company of my mother, knowing that I'm not going to come back there. Yeah, simple. Go to the beach, have our barbecue, as I mentioned a few times already, and play some good music. Maybe listen to a steel pan, to get the real feeling up there, and just enjoy.
Very cool. Good answer. So you survived the eye of the hurricane. How was it?
Yeah, it was easy. It was good.
Cool. All right. Now I have one more question to ask you before I let you get out of here. Okay.
Okay.
Right now, someone listening is probably trying to decide between Aruba and someplace else. So give them your best 30 seconds or less pitch on why Aruba should be their next vacation destination.
Well, I have the perfect pitch for them. Our island is small, and people tend to use that as a negative thing. But imagine that everything is reachable. So you can go to a great restaurant, but if you don't want to be in a restaurant, you go to a local bar. If you don't want to go to a bar, there's the beach. If you feel like you want to have a little more luxury, you can go to our hotels. You can have your massage. You can swim in a swimming pool with your family, take your kids with you. But imagine if you don't want to be with your kids, you can go to Bukudi, especially for couples. Enjoy there, white beach, all good.
Yeah, definitely. That beach spot in front of Bakudi is like a living postcard.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Now I want to thank you once again for granting me this interview.
I want to thank you so much for even having this conversation with me and having the interest in our culture that you're showing. Maybe one day you'll end up in Aruba with your lady, and we'll get to meet each other.
That'd be cool.
If you go to dinner with me, everything will be on local prices. But I'll tell you a few things about that.
Nice. So I'm gonna let you get out of here, all right?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So there you have it, episode 38 of One Happy Podcast featuring Howard Nedd. I hope you all enjoyed it. I want to thank Howard for taking the time to do this interview, and I want to thank you guys for hanging out with the both of us for the past 40 minutes. You guys are the most awesome listening audience ever. Hopefully you made it through the blizzard in good shape, but if you're still trying to dig out, I can't think of a better way to pass the time than by listening to a podcast about your favorite place on earth, the island of Aruba. This was episode 38, but you can find an archive of the other episodes at onehappypodcast.com, which is the headquarters for everything podcast related, archives, resources, and more. Now, if you'd like to contact me about being on a future episode or have a suggestion for someone you would like me to interview, you can visit onehappypodcast.com and click on the link that says share your story. Or you can email me at kurt@onehappypodcast.com. That's Kurt with a C. Or you can visit the One Happy Podcast Facebook page, which is located at facebook.com/onehappypodcast. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you have an Aruba story to share, the only thing keeping you from doing it is you. Let your experiences on the island help someone else find their way to paradise. But, in the meantime,
hit the music.